Hello guys and welcome back to Small World of Tanks. Got a couple of replays for you, nothing spectacular. Like I said, I don't play too much anymore, but I do like to bring you a video or two every month because they're still quite popular videos, and I still sometimes enjoy the game. I'm just really going to have a little bit of a rant about the new tanks that are out for the Halloween part of the game. So, you know, we all know that Wargaming just likes to make awful tank designs sometimes. You know, I've never really understood it. You know, this is quite a... Well, to begin with, originally, you know, we're playing a kind of like a combat game that's based around tanks. You know, the majority of them are on real tanks. You know, I just think that if you want to play a mishmash of weird-looking tanks, you know, make a whole new game. You know, I don't really see the point in inserting them in this game where the majority of them are quite realistic and stuff, or at least based on blueprints of designs from the time. And obviously, originally, you know, we had some awful looking tanks from pretty much the get-go, and I did kind of buy some the flag tanks or the hero tanks or whatever they were called originally. Now obviously I needed some premium tanks from all the tank lines I was going up when I first started the game, and you know, they sold pretty much one of the first bundles I needed. Was we had the Knight, the Liberty, and the Freedom. They were all pretty good tanks. Well, they were all good tanks. They just looked awful. You know, fair enough. But at the time I needed them, and they continued to make those. You know, not up until fairly recently, to be honest. They all look pretty bad. I've got the World 1 or 2 because obviously when they came out there wasn't any premiums for that particular tank line, so I was like, well, I kind of reluctantly got them, and they were, you know, they were pretty awful looking, but you know, nothing horrendous, nothing too horrendous anyway. And then they came out with the Valkyria Chronicles tanks. Now, a lot of people kicked off about those. Now, I got those because I loved the Valkyria Chronicles games, and they were strategic, military-based type games with tanks in them. Yes, it was set in a fantasy world, but I don't think they looked too out of place. I'm talking about the Edelweiss and the Nameless. You know, they don't look too bad or out of place in the game. I think they look pretty cool. Anyway, then they brought out the major downturn for the game really was the WW or whatever wrestling tanks. Now, looking back, they were after what comes after, they weren't actually too bad, but at the time I thought they were terrible. Obviously they ruined the garage. The first time they did that, I was just like, no, thank you. Of course, bounced off a tiny little TD with no armor, and they had the catchphrases or whatever on the side. Just awful things, awful looking really, and just not in keeping with the game. And obviously, as the time goes by, they actually came out originally with not too bad Halloween tanks. I didn't particularly like them at the time, but they weren't too bad, you know. You know, they were okay. And like the Lycan, the Goronich, the Bog Horror, and the Craft Panther, you know, not too bad, you know. You can't really go too wrong with that. Those, you know, with the theme, and um, and being horror tanks, they weren't too bad. But obviously, as the years go by, they've been getting worse and more outlandish. So Balafon, um, the creature, I think, pretty bad. But this year really takes a mick. The arachnid, that is basically a spider. It's a tank, normal tank hull, basically, with the turret made into a giant spider. It's got the 8 legs dangling down. It looks horrific, absolutely terrible. But the thing is, it's actually a really good tank. Now, they're obviously going to think, oh, people are buying this, so we'll carry on doing these designs because they obviously sell. No, people are buying it because the actual tank is good, not because the design is good. Most people are probably like, oh, well, it's horrendous looking, but I want a competitive tank. I want a new tank, so I'm going to get it, which is, how some people do that. That's, like I said, I did buy the hero tanks or the flag tanks because I kind of needed them at the time. Kind of regret it now, but you can't take it back now. So it feels like these they're being encouraged to make them because they think the designs are good, when people are just buying them because they're actually good tanks. And obviously we had the Hot Wheels. I mean, oh my god, who thought that was a good idea? I mean, really awful tanks. Like fluorescent green and blue with giant exhaust coming off them. Nothing like a normal tank. And then you got the mercenaries, which again, at the time, terrible, but now, actually not so bad, right? They're actually pretty good compared to some of the horrific tanks we've got at the moment. Set that guy on fire. I don't know why this guy's just sitting here. Oh, messed up that shot. Yeah. So I'm glad I don't play very much anymore, because it's just horrendous. Bounced. I don't know what bounced off there, but yeah, I'm poking out in the wrong angle here. I'm gonna get we've downed a tank already, but I am not in the best position. I'm not bouncing many shots, which this thing is awesome at. It's got such good armor. It's very OP. If you want a good improve your win rate, probably, obviously, this no tank's gonna make your win rate go amazing, but you got a better chance to get your win rate up or whatever if that's what you're after in a tank like this, which is very OP. The armor's just amazing. Most people know that if you want to pen this thing, you got to put in some premium rounds. Yeah, so yeah, obviously I'm only playing a little bit at a time at this game, like once a week. Now, if I got any silver boosters, I'm going to be playing Cold War, because that's where the money is. The most money you're going to get is on the Cold War. So, and obviously at the moment they seem to be giving away free silver boosts every month. So, majority of my games are actually played on Cold War, which is kind of unfortunate, because I'm enjoying Cold War more now, but I still don't like the fact you don't get ribbons, medals and stuff at the end of the game. I could get some really good ribbons at this point. Some of the games I've been having in this, but unfortunately doesn't count towards any of those. Still don't know why that isn't a thing. Also don't like the way it doesn't tell you what tier your tanks and the enemy tanks are, because you don't know whether the teams are balanced or not, because I'm not too familiar with these tanks, because I don't play that much. I haven't played up any real lines, so I don't really know the tanks from like playing them. So I just literally have no idea what if the enemy team has an advantage or disadvantage. That is something though. The World War II, they start to actually balance the games a lot more. You know, there's no the enemy team has 2 more top tier tanks and 1 more mid tier tank. It seems to be quite balanced from that perspective, and you know. Good, great. It only took them, what, 8 years? Something like that, to balance the game a bit better. Obviously, you can't fully balance the game, because you never know. Obviously, it depends on, you know, what tanks the enemy's in, what kind of map you're on, if you know, how good the teammates are and how good the enemy team is. It's all dependent on stuff like that quite a bit, but obviously having the same tiers as each other is just a simple fix for quite a bit of the problems. And there we go, guys. We are actually in this game. We are 6 for 6. You know, it could go either way, and we're just kind of. Luckily, our team seems to be sticking together. That's the main thing. Our team is all kind of like supporting each other, and their team is a little bit mixed up. But there you go. And I do make a bit of a mistake in this game, I believe. I'll go fight these 2 guys, and it's quite annoying. 2 guys. Yeah, at this point, I've got the health. I can go in push, but the majority of the enemy team is here, but our team's just not pushing. And unfortunately, you can't hit the Compola on that thing. Sometimes it depends, sometimes it doesn't. And then, of course, for some reason, the light tank comes up behind me and starts shooting me. This is the problem I have with this. I then, instead of, I push, so I can only get hit in the front. So, you know, I'm not getting shot in the ass by the light tank. I didn't realise actually light tank got taken out. There we go. And I'm getting penned from the front and back. And of course, he decides to kill me rather than guy that's attacking him, which is awesome, isn't it? That's always the case, right? Anyway, there's some couple of decent games and a bit of a rant about some of the stupid designs, and obviously 3D commanders. Again, still don't like the 3D commanders. They don't particularly look good, and they're covering up my tank, which is what I want to play tanks to do. You know, look at tanks. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.